So before we kind of get more detailed on it, what is your initial thought overall on this deal?
So when I saw the final numbers come down, I thought I can see why this took so long because there's a lot of parts to this that David Poyle just doesn't normally kind of work out. A lot of his deals are normally like so kind of straight up and down. This has a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of detail to it, but my initial reaction was I think sort of like I never really thought that he wasn't going to sign.
Hmm.
I've been on that train for a while.
Hmm.
I was pretty convinced that Filip Forsberg was going to re-sign here, and that if David Poyle really didn't think that he would be able to sign him, that we would have known by now. So I wasn't totally surprised that the signing happened, but again, some of the details of the contract, which we can talk about, are just like kind of fascinating, and also again, not something that David Poyle normally deals with, which could be why it took so long.
So I looked at your timeline over at AZ Sports, and on May the 10th, Forsberg famously says, look, this team needs to be headed in the right direction. That meaning being a contender for the cup in order for me to really kind of stake my claim and be here long term. And then tell me about July the 3rd and how crucial that was to this process.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty big moment because I don't want to overstate what Forsberg said, but it was kind of the first time that you'd heard a player say like, yeah, I need to see that this team is headed in the right direction before I say this. He was talking in a to the media. It was in a big scrum, so it wasn't like some public statement where he said I need to get this message out there. But I think that his message was clear, and I think it was definitely clear to David Poyle because on July 3rd is when he traded for Ryan McDonough. So he ends up paying about a little over $4 million more on his cap in order to upgrade his defense tremendously. And so Ryan McDonough is going to come in as probably the second best defenseman on the team, maybe the third if Ekholm was the second. I mean, he's right there. I mean, he's going to be the top two or top three defensemen on this team for the next 6 years. Yeah, so I don't see Ryan McDonough as anything other than David Poyle needed to upgrade his defense. He also needed to show Filip Forsberg, hey, I'm willing to make this work. I'm willing to change this team and get it going in the right direction, become a contender. And then 5-6 days later, Filip Forsberg finally gets the contract down. Now, I will say this, because I don't want to contradict what I said earlier. I still think Forsberg is going to sign the whole time.
Hmm.
But trading for Ryan McDonough, you cannot ignore that as a factor.